There is a quiet power moving through your life right now, a power so intimate that you may have mistaken it for something ordinary, something passing, something accidental, something that simply happens to you when the world behaves a certain way. But your feelings are not merely reactions to the world. Your feelings are messages. Your feelings are prayers before words. Your feelings are instructions whispered into the invisible field of your life. Your feelings are not weak. They are not decorative. They are not random waves rising and falling in the ocean of your being. They are currents. They are signals. They are the magnetic language of your inner world. And once you understand the pulling power of your feelings, once you stop treating emotion as an enemy to suppress or a master to obey, you begin to discover one of the great spiritual secrets of existence. The world you explore and the world you experience is deeply influenced by the emotional atmosphere you continually carry within yourself. This does not mean that every event in your life is your fault. That is not wisdom. That is spiritual cruelty disguised as metaphysics. Life is vast, mysterious, collective, ancient, and layered with causes the human mind cannot fully trace. But it does mean that within every event, in every season, in every relationship, in every uncertainty, you are always participating in creation through the state of your being. You are always offering a vibration. You are always practicing an identity. You are always teaching life how to meet you by the emotional home you return to again and again. And if you wish to change what you attract, you must begin not with frantic effort, not with desperate striving, not with begging the universe to rearrange itself while you remain inwardly unchanged, but with the sacred work of becoming conscious of what you are feeling, why you are feeling it, and what those feelings are silently declaring about who you believe yourself to be. Your feelings are like the fragrance of your consciousness. You may say one thing with your mouth, but your feelings reveal what you are truly assuming. You may say, I want love, but if you feel unworthy, abandoned, suspicious, and guarded, you are not standing in the garden of love. You are standing at the gate of fear, asking love to climb through the barbed wire. You may say, I want abundance, but if you feel panic, lack, resentment, comparison, and desperation, you are not opening to abundance. You are rehearsing scarcity with spiritual language. You may say, I want peace, but if your inner world is addicted to conflict, argument, judgment, and the need to be right, then peace remains a word, not a dwelling place. The universe does not respond merely to your words. Life responds to your whole being. It responds to the felt truth beneath the words. It responds to what you are living as real inside yourself. This is why emotions carry pulling power. A feeling held long enough becomes a belief. A belief repeated often enough becomes an identity. An identity embodied consistently becomes a destiny. And so the question is not simply, what do you want? The deeper question is, what emotional state are you most loyal to? What feeling do you return to when no one is watching? What atmosphere do you build inside yourself every morning when you wake? What story does your nervous system expect before the day has even begun? Do you wake as though life is friendly, guided, and full of unseen possibility, or do you wake already preparing for disappointment? Do you enter your relationships expecting to be understood or expecting to be wounded? Do you approach your dreams with reverence or with the heavy sigh of someone secretly convinced that nothing works out? These are not small matters. These are the invisible architects of your experience. The law of attraction is often misunderstood because people reduce it to wanting things. They make vision boards, repeat phrases, imagine outcomes, and then wonder why nothing changes. But wanting is not the same as being. Wanting often confirms absence. Wanting often says, I do not have this. I am not this. I am separate from this. And I need it to come toward me so I can finally feel complete. But being says, I am already inwardly aligned with the essence of this. I am not chasing love. I am becoming love. I am not begging for abundance. I am living in grateful receptivity. I am not waiting for peace. I am practicing peace now. I am not trying to force the future. I am becoming the consciousness through which the future can arrive. This is the real secret. You do not attract what you want as much as you attract what you consistently are. And what you consistently are is revealed by the feeling, tone you cultivate within yourself. Your feelings are the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your actions are the tending. Your results are the harvest. You cannot plant fear in the soil of your heart and expect peace to bloom. You cannot plant resentment and expect freedom. You cannot plant unworthiness and expect healthy love. You cannot plant chronic self-rejection and expect the world to reflect back honor. The outer garden must follow the inner soil. But here is the great mercy. The soil can be changed. The inner atmosphere can be purified. The emotional home can be rebuilt. You are not sentenced to the feeling patterns you inherited. You are not condemned to carry the emotional climate of your childhood, your family history, your past heartbreak, your old failures, your disappointments, or the wounds of people who did not know how to love you properly. Those feelings may have entered you through pain, but they do not have to remain as your identity. You can witness them, you can bless them, you can release them, you can teach your body a new expectation, you can teach your heart a new safety, you can teach your mind a new language, you can become a conscious participant in the emotional vibration you offer to life. Many people are trying to manifest a new life while emotionally living in the old one. They imagine success, but feel like imposters. They speak of love, but feel unlovable. They ask for healing, but keep touching the wound to make sure it is still there. They pray for doors to open while gripping the identity of someone who expects every door to close, and then they say, the law does not work, life is unfair, nothing changes. But something is changing all the time. The question is, what are you practicing? Every emotion practiced repeatedly is a rehearsal. Anxiety rehearses danger. Gratitude rehearses abundance. Resentment rehearses bondage. Forgiveness rehearses freedom. Shame rehearses separation. Love rehearses union. Trust rehearses guidance. Joy rehearses receptivity. Your feelings are not passive. They are creative rehearsals for the life you are preparing to recognize. Think of your consciousness as a radio. The broadcast is always available, but you hear only the frequency to which you are tuned. There is a station of peace. There is a station of fear. There is a station of lack. There is a station of gratitude. There is a station of possibility. There is a station of despair. The broadcast of divine love is not absent when you are afraid. You are simply tuned to a different frequency. The abundance of life is not gone when you are in scarcity. Your awareness is focused on absence, not circulation. The field of possibility is not closed when you are discouraged. Your inner receiver is crowded with static. Spiritual practice is not about forcing life to broadcast differently. It is about tuning the instrument of your being until you can receive what has always been present. This is why stillness is so powerful. In stillness, you stop worshiping the noise. You stop allowing every thought to become a commandment. You stop identifying with every feeling as though it were the final truth. You sit, you breathe, you observe. You allow the storm to pass through the sky of awareness without calling yourself the storm. And in that sacred witnessing, something extraordinary happens. The emotion begins to loosen, the body begins to soften. The mind begins to return from its exile in fear. The soul begins to whisper again. You realize, I can feel sadness without becoming sadness. I can feel fear without becoming fear. I can feel anger without letting anger choose my destiny. I can feel longing without turning longing into lack. I can feel uncertainty without abandoning trust. This distinction is everything. You are not asked to deny your emotions. Denial is not attraction. Denial is resistance wearing a smile. To say I am abundant while your whole being is trembling with terror, and then to push that terror away as though it is spiritually incorrect, is not alignment. It is inner division. Real spiritual mastery does not shame the feeling. It listens to the feeling. It asks, what are you here to show me? What belief are you carrying? What wound are you protecting? What old story are you repeating? What part of me needs love right now? Then, instead of being possessed by the feeling, you become its loving witness. You allow it to move. You breathe with it. You bring compassion to it. And from that place, you can choose a higher vibration, not as a performance, but as a genuine return. Your emotions are energy in motion. When they are resisted, they become trapped. When they are worshipped, they become identity. When they are witnessed, they become teachers. When they are loved, they become doorways. A painful emotion is not a failure of your spirituality. It is a messenger standing at the threshold of your awareness. Fear may be saying, I do not yet feel safe. Anger may be saying, a boundary has been crossed. Grief may be saying, something mattered deeply. Jealousy may be saying, there is a desire within me I have not given myself permission to honor. Shame may be saying, I have believed the lie that I am separate from love. Each emotion can either pull you deeper into unconsciousness or awaken you into a more truthful relationship with yourself. And when you begin to feel consciously, you stop manifesting from injury. This is vital. A wounded heart can attract the same lesson in different faces. A resentful mind can recreate the same prison in new circumstances. An unhealed identity can turn even blessings into burdens because it does not know how to receive without fear. This is why healing and attraction are inseparable. You cannot attract and sustain what your unresolved self is still organized against. If deep within you, you believe love means loss, you may sabotage intimacy. If you believe money means guilt, you may block prosperity. If you believe visibility means danger, you may hide your gifts. If you believe success means rejection from those you love, you may keep yourself small to remain accepted. The outer thing is not the problem. The inner association is the magnet. So begin to ask yourself gently, what do I feel when I imagine receiving what I say I want? Not what do I think I should feel, but what do I truly feel? If you imagine being loved deeply, do you feel joy or panic? If you imagine being prosperous, do you feel expansion or guilt? If you imagine being seen, do you feel freedom or exposure? If you imagine changing your life, do you feel possibility or betrayal of the old identity? This honest inquiry is sacred. It reveals the hidden emotional contracts that have been shaping your life from beneath the surface, and once seen, they can be released. What remains unconscious becomes destiny. What becomes conscious becomes choice. There is no justified resentment. This is not a statement the ego enjoys. The ego treasures its resentments like sacred evidence. It says, look what they did. Look how unfair it was. Look how wrong they were. And perhaps they were wrong. Perhaps what happened was painful, unjust, careless, even cruel. But resentment does not punish the past. It extends the past. It keeps the emotional frequency of injury alive in the present. It makes the person who harmed you a permanent resident in your inner world. It gives your creative power to the very thing you say you want to be free from. Resentment has pulling power too. It attracts thoughts, people, and circumstances that confirm the wound. It scans life for more evidence of betrayal. It teaches the nervous system to expect attack. It makes peace feel unfamiliar. Forgiveness then is not weakness. Forgiveness is energetic sovereignty. It is saying, I release the emotional frequency that keeps me tied to this pain. I refuse to let my future be magnetized by my injury. Forgiveness does not mean you must reconcile with everyone. It does not mean you deny consequences. It does not mean you pretend the wound did not matter. It means you choose to no longer live from the vibration of the wound. You stop feeding the past with the life force of your present attention. You bless yourself enough to return to freedom. And when you forgive, something subtle changes in your field. You become lighter. You become clearer. You become less available to repetition. You no longer walk into rooms carrying invisible accusations. You no longer approach love as though it must answer for everyone who failed you. You no longer approach opportunity as though it must compensate you for every delay. You stop demanding that the future pay the debt of the past, and in that release, you become available to receive. Gratitude is one of the highest emotional frequencies because it declares completeness in the present moment. Gratitude says, I see what is here, I honor what has been given. I acknowledge the invisible kindness that breathes through my life even before everything is solved. Gratitude is not pretending you have no desires. It is not complacency. It is not spiritual decoration. Gratitude is alignment with the nature of abundance. A grateful person is not asleep. A grateful person is awake to the gifts hidden in ordinary hours. The water, the breath, the chance to begin again, the lesson, the friend, the silence, the sunlight through the window, the body still carrying you, the heart still capable of feeling, the dream still calling, the door that closed and saved you, the delay that matured you, the mistake that taught you, the pain that opened compassion. Gratitude turns life from a battlefield into a temple. When you live gratefully, you stop saying to life, prove yourself, and you begin saying, I recognize you. And whatever you recognize expands in your awareness. This is not magic in the childish sense. It is perception. It is consciousness. The fearful mind filters for threat. The grateful mind filters for grace. The resentful mind filters for offense. The loving mind filters for connection. The scarce mind filters for what is missing. The abundant mind filters for what is circulating. You are not only attracting circumstances, you are attracting interpretations. And your interpretation of life often determines the life you are capable of receiving. Your feelings also affect your actions. This is where many people misunderstand spiritual law. They imagine that feeling is a substitute for action. It is not. Feeling is the root from which action grows. When you feel aligned, your actions become cleaner, clearer, more effective. When you feel desperate, your actions become scattered. When you feel unworthy, you hesitate, over-explain, undercharge, apologize for existing, accept crumbs, delay your own calling. When you feel trusting, you take the next step without needing the whole map. When you feel loved by life, you stop bargaining with fear. When you feel guided, you notice the quiet nudge, the intuitive opening, the conversation that matters, the idea that arrives gently but will not leave you alone. Inspired action is born from a different emotional state than frantic action. Both may look busy, but only one carries harmony. The body knows the difference. The body is a sacred instrument. It records the emotional music you play repeatedly. If you live in fear, the body tightens. If you live in resentment, the body braces. If you live in shame, the body collapses inward. If you live in love, the body softens. If you live in trust, the breath deepens. If you live in gratitude, the nervous system begins to learn that this moment is not an enemy. Your body is not separate from your spiritual life. It is the temple through which your vibration is expressed. Treat it with kindness. Speak to it as a friend. Do not use it as a battlefield for old self-hatred. Bless your body for carrying you through every season you did not know how to survive. And as you bless it, you change the emotional signal you send to life. You stop broadcasting rejection from within your own skin. One of the most powerful practices is to feel the feeling of the fulfilled desire without needing immediate proof. Not as fantasy, not as escape, but as spiritual rehearsal. Close your eyes and ask, what would it feel like if I truly trusted life? What would it feel like if I knew I was guided? What would it feel like if I no longer needed to prove my worth? What would it feel like if abundance were safe? What would it feel like if love could stay? What would it feel like if I forgave myself completely? Let the body taste that state. Let the nervous system become familiar with peace before the circumstance arrives. Let the heart practice receiving before the gift appears. You are not deceiving yourself. You are training your inner world to stop rejecting the reality you say you desire. The imagination is not a toy, it is a sacred faculty. Everything human beings have built began as an image within consciousness. The chair, the home, the symphony, the bridge, the poem, the healing conversation, the new life. Imagination is the womb of form, but imagination joined with elevated feeling becomes creative prayer. When you imagine and feel gratitude as though the essence is already alive within you, you are not manipulating the universe. You are aligning with possibility. You are saying yes inwardly before you see the outer confirmation. You are becoming available, and availability matters. Many blessings do not arrive because the person is not available to receive them. Their hands are full of resentment, their heart is full of fear, their mind is full of old conclusions, their calendar is full of distractions, their identity is full of reasons why they cannot. To receive, you must become spacious. This is why releasing is as important as attracting. The ego wants to add. The soul often asks you to subtract. Release the belief that suffering makes you noble. Release the addiction to being misunderstood. Release the need to keep telling the old story. Release the emotional habit of expecting abandonment. Release the idea that your worth must be earned through exhaustion. Release the fear that if you become peaceful, you will become powerless. Release the hidden loyalty to lack. Release the guilt of outgrowing environments that required you to stay small. Release the resentment you have called protection. Release the identity of the one who never receives. Release the need to know exactly how. The how belongs to a larger intelligence than the anxious mind. There is an intelligence that grows the tree from the seed, moves the planets in their silence, heals the cut on your hand without your instruction, turns the seasons, pulls the tide, opens the flower, guides the bird across impossible distances, and breathes you when you forget to be grateful for breath. That intelligence is not absent from your life. You may be absent from your awareness of it, but it is not absent from you. When you align your feelings with trust, you are not inventing support. You are remembering it. When you align with love, you are not creating God, you are allowing God. When you align with peace, you are not escaping reality, you are touching a deeper reality beneath the surface turbulence. The ego will resist this because the ego survives through separation. It says, I am alone, I must force, I must control, I must compare, I must defend, I must be better than others. I must be seen as special, I must win or I am nothing. And because the ego feels separate, it generates emotions that match separation. Fear, jealousy, shame, resentment, pride, insecurity. The soul feels connected. The soul says, I am part of life, I am guided, I can serve, I can create, I can trust, I can let go, I can receive, I can bless, I can begin again. And because the soul knows connection, it generates emotions that match connection: peace, love, gratitude, compassion, joy, courage, faith. Every day you are choosing which self you will energize. Every day you are feeding either the frightened self or the awakened self. This choice happens in small moments. It happens when someone criticizes you and you choose not to collapse into shame or strike back from ego. It happens when a delay comes and you choose not to interpret it as abandonment. It happens when you see someone else succeed and choose inspiration instead of envy. It happens when you wake up tired and still place your hand on your heart and say, I am here, I am willing, guide me today. It happens when fear says do nothing and the soul says take one loving step. It happens when resentment says replay the wound and freedom says bless and release. It happens when scarcity says there is not enough and gratitude says life is circulating even now. These small inner choices become energetic habits. Energetic habits become attraction points. Attraction points become life patterns. Do not wait until your feelings are perfect. Perfection is another trap of the ego. The goal is not to feel high every moment. The goal is to become honest, conscious, and free. There will be days when grief visits. Let it visit. Sit with it as you would sit with a tired child. There will be days when anger rises. Listen for the boundary beneath it. There will be days when fear trembles. Place it in the lap of compassion. There will be days when doubt speaks. Thank it for trying to protect you and then choose again. The spiritual path is not emotional denial, it is emotional alchemy. You learn to turn fear into presence, grief into tenderness, anger into clarity, longing into prayer, uncertainty into surrender, and desire into devotion. And desire itself is sacred when purified. Desire is not the enemy. Desire is life-seeking expression through you. The problem is not desire. The problem is attachment, desperation, and the belief that without the object of desire, you are incomplete. Desire from the ego says, I need this to be somebody. Desire from the soul says, this is calling me because it wants to be expressed through the divine intelligence within me. One contracts. The other expands. One grasps, the other opens. One fears loss, the other trusts unfolding. When your desire is held in love rather than lack, it becomes a compass. It points you toward growth, creativity, service, courage, and fuller expression. You can begin today by asking not only, what do I want to attract, but what do I want to feel as my natural state of being? Peace, freedom, worthiness, abundance, love, trust, joy, clarity, strength. Then begin practicing the feeling before the world gives you a reason. Practice peace in traffic. Practice abundance when paying a bill by blessing the circulation of value. Practice love when speaking to yourself in the mirror. Practice worthiness when you are not being applauded. Practice trust when the answer has not arrived. Practice joy over small things until the body remembers that joy is not irresponsible, it is restorative. Practice freedom by refusing to carry what is no longer yours. This is not childish. This is spiritual discipline. You have spent years practicing some feelings without knowing it. You practiced worry until worry felt responsible. You practiced self-criticism until kindness felt fake. You practiced lack until abundance felt suspicious. You practiced emotional defense until love felt dangerous. So now you must practice differently. Not once. Not as a performance. Not only when convenient. Practice as a gardener practices tending the soil. Practice as a musician practices scales. Practice as a monk returns to the breath. Practice as the sun rises again and again without asking whether the darkness approves. The pulling power of your feelings becomes strongest when feeling, thought, word, and action are in harmony. If you say you trust but act from panic, the signal is divided. If you say you are worthy but tolerate disrespect, the signal is divided. If you say you are abundant but speak constantly of lack, the signal is divided. If you say you are ready but never take the next step, the signal is divided. Alignment is coherence. It is when your inner and outer life begin to speak the same language. You feel love. You think lovingly. You speak with love. You act in loving self-respect. You feel abundance. You think expansively. You speak gratefully. You act generously and wisely. You feel purpose. You think clearly. You speak truthfully. You act consistently. This coherence is magnetic because it is whole. The universe, life, God, source, the field, whatever word you choose for the sacred intelligence that holds all things, does not require you to be flawless. It invites you to be congruent. Congruence is power. A congruent person does not need to shout, their presence speaks. A congruent person does not chase, their energy invites. A congruent person does not manipulate, their clarity organizes. A congruent person does not pretend, their authenticity heals. When you become congruent with the feeling of what you desire, you stop being at war with your own prayer. You stop asking for one thing and preparing emotionally for the opposite. You stop saying yes with your words and no with your identity. This is why self-love is not optional. Without self-love, attraction becomes another way to punish yourself. You begin asking, why have I not manifested yet? What is wrong with me? Why am I not positive enough? Why am I still afraid? And then the very practice that was meant to liberate you becomes another instrument of shame. No, return to love. Always return to love. You are not here to become a machine of perfect vibration. You are here to awaken as a human soul, tender and powerful, learning to choose light in a world of contrast. Love yourself through the process. Love yourself when the old pattern appears. Love yourself when you forget. Love yourself when you begin again. Love is the atmosphere in which transformation becomes sustainable. The feeling of being loved by life may be the most powerful magnet of all. When you feel loved by life, you stop begging, you stop forcing, you stop shrinking, you stop negotiating with unworthy circumstances. You begin to walk as though the ground beneath you is sacred. You begin to speak as though your words matter. You begin to listen as though guidance is always arriving. You begin to give as though you are supplied by a deeper source. You begin to receive without guilt. You begin to trust that your existence is not accidental. You begin to understand that you are not an orphan in the universe. You are held. And when you know you are held, your feelings change. Your fear may still arise, but it no longer rules. Your desires may still burn, but they no longer become desperation. Your dreams may still stretch you, but they no longer terrify you into paralysis. You become calm without becoming passive. You become powerful without becoming harsh. You become ambitious without becoming empty. You become surrendered without becoming weak. You become grateful without becoming complacent. You become open without becoming naive. This is the balance of the awakened life. So when you think of the law of attraction, do not think only of attracting objects. Think of becoming spiritually magnetic to the quality of life that matches your highest self. Think of attracting clarity because you are no longer addicted to confusion. Think of attracting love because you are no longer abandoning yourself. Think of attracting prosperity because you are no longer worshiping lack. Think of attracting peace because you are no longer feeding conflict. Think of attracting purpose because you are no longer pretending you have no calling. Think of attracting freedom because you are no longer defending your prison. The life you seek is not as far away as fear has told you. It begins in the next feeling you choose to cultivate. It begins in the next interpretation you choose to release. It begins in the next breath where you remember, I am not helpless before my emotional patterns. I can pause. I can witness. I can soften. I can choose. I can return. I can generate gratitude. I can practice trust. I can bless the present. I can feel the essence of what I desire before it arrives. I can become an energetic match for the life that is calling me. And perhaps right now, as these words enter you, something in you already knows this is true, not because it is new, but because it is ancient. The soul always recognizes the truth it has been waiting for the mind to remember. You have felt moments when your inner state changed and suddenly the world looked different. You have felt moments when love made you brave, when gratitude made you rich, when forgiveness made you light, when trust made you clear, when peace made you powerful. Those moments were not accidents. They were glimpses of your real creative nature. They were reminders that you are not merely a victim of conditions. You are a being of consciousness moving through conditions, and consciousness is creative. Let your feelings become sacred allies. Do not fear them, do not worship them, listen to them, cleanse them, elevate them, and choose them with reverence. Let gratitude pull more grace into your awareness. Let love pull more connection into your relationships. Let peace pull more wisdom into your decisions. Let joy pull more vitality into your body. Let forgiveness pull more freedom into your future. Let trust pull more guidance into your path. Let worthiness pull more honorable circumstances into your life. Let abundance pull more generous action through your hands. Let your feelings become prayers that your whole being is speaking. You are not here to beg the universe for scraps. You are here to remember your partnership with the sacred. You are here to become a conscious instrument through which divine intelligence can create, heal, serve, prosper, love, and bless. You are here to stop using your emotions unconsciously and begin feeling on purpose. You are here to stop allowing fear to script your future. You are here to stop letting old pain choose your expectations. You are here to stop confusing emotional familiarity with truth. You are here to build a new inner home. And in that new inner home, you will still be human, but you will no longer be lost. You will still desire, but you will not be desperate. You will still feel, but you will not be enslaved. You will still act, but you will not act from panic. You will still dream, but you will not wait for the dream to make you worthy. You will wake each day and tune the instrument. You will ask, what am I broadcasting? What am I practicing? What am I blessing? What am I expecting? What am I available to receive? And little by little, your life will begin to reorganize around the truth you are embodying. Do not underestimate little by little. The river shapes the stone not by force, but by faithful movement. The dawn removes darkness not by violence, but by steady light. The seed becomes the tree not by anxiety, but by remaining in the law of its own becoming. So remain faithful to the feeling of your highest truth. When the old fear returns, choose again. When the old resentment calls, choose again. When the old scarcity speaks, choose again. When the old self asks you to come back and live in the familiar pain, bless it, thank it, and choose again. Every choice is a tuning. Every tuning is an attraction. Every attraction is a path. Every path is a life. Feel now, even if only for a moment, the truth that you are guided. Feel that life is not finished with you. Feel that your past does not hold the final authority. Feel that your heart can become light again. Feel that abundance is not something you chase, but something you learn to circulate. Feel that love is not outside you waiting to rescue you, but within you waiting to express through you. Feel that peace is possible before the problem is solved. Feel that forgiveness is possible before the apology comes. Feel that you are enough before the achievement arrives. Feel that you are worthy before the world agrees. Feel that you are already connected to the source from which all beautiful things emerge. That feeling is not imagination in the shallow sense. It is remembrance. It is alignment. It is the beginning of a new signal. Stay with it. Breathe into it. Let it enter your hands, your voice, your eyes, your decisions, your work, your relationships, your silence. Let it become not an occasional mood, but a spiritual practice. And as you do, you will discover that the pulling power of your feelings was never meant to imprison you in unconscious repetition. It was meant to awaken you to your creative partnership with life. You are always attracting something. Let it be peace, let it be wisdom, let it be love, let it be courage, let it be the right people, the right doors, the right lessons, the right timing, the right strength. Let it be the life that matches not your fear, but your soul. Let it be the future that rises from gratitude, not resentment. Let it be the work that flows from purpose, not panic. Let it be the abundance that comes through stewardship, not greed. Let it be the relationships that honor wholeness, not wounded need. Let it be the healing that begins within and radiates outward. And when you forget, return. When you fall, return. When you contract, return. When you feel the old ache, return. The path is always here, beneath your breath, beneath your thoughts, beneath the noise of the world. Return to the quiet center. Return to the feeling of being held. Return to the awareness that your emotions are not your enemies, they are the energetic language of your becoming. Return to the simple, powerful truth that what you feel consistently, you begin to see persistently. What you embody inwardly, you begin to recognize outwardly. What you bless within yourself, life finds ways to echo around you. So bless your heart, bless your body, bless your past and release its grip. Bless your desires and purify them with love. Bless your dreams and meet them with action. Bless your fear and refuse to let it lead. Bless the unknown and walk into it with trust. Bless this moment, because this moment is where your power lives. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, here, now, in this breath, in this feeling, in this sacred decision to no longer be a servant of old emotional patterns, but a conscious creator aligned with the love, intelligence, and abundance of life itself. The pulling power of your feelings is the invitation to live awake. It is the invitation to stop waiting for the world to change your inner state and to begin allowing your inner state to change the way you meet the world. It is the invitation to become so rooted in peace that chaos cannot easily purchase your attention, so established in worthiness that rejection cannot define you, so fluent in gratitude that lack cannot hypnotize you, and so practiced in love that fear cannot permanently close you, so aligned with your soul that the ego can no longer convince you that you are separate from the source of all good. You are not separate, you never were. You are a wave in the ocean of divine life, and your feelings are the movement of that ocean through your human form. Let them move consciously. Let them rise cleanly. Let them guide you home. Let them pull toward you not more of what wounded you, but more of what awakens you. Let them become the golden thread between your inner world and your outer life. And as you learn to feel from the truth of who you are, you will no longer ask, why is life withholding from me? You will begin to say, I am opening, I am aligning, I am allowing, I am becoming, I am remembering. And from that remembrance, a new world begins to answer.